Right now, everyone's talking about Assassin's Creed. It's because they've made the choice, instead of making a Japanese samurai, they're using Yasuke, who is a real person. And people are upset that the main character is not Japanese. What's up, Samurai? It's perfect. Samurai's here, and we're about to watch Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is about the one black samurai that existed. But alright, let's watch this video real quick. Good, and you? I'm doing good for the most part, but my body's on fire. I dumped an entire container of chili oil on my rice and ate that. And chili oil is one of those spices that, like, it doesn't hit you right away. It hits you after, and it fucks up your insides. So I'm expecting about an hour and a half in, I'm gonna have to go take a shit. And then my tum-tum might hurt too much, and so I might have to quit stream. But alright, Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is the trailer that everyone's... Hold on, what's the dislike ratio? They don't show that anymore. But I mean, it's got 266,000 likes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a small percentage of people that's complaining about this. Jesus. The most heroic thing about this trailer is that they left the comments open. We blend in with the crowd, says the 6'3" black man in the middle of feudal Japan. Alright. Fuck the comments. We're gonna watch this. Why is the quality so bad? 360, holy shit.
Who are you? Who do you serve?
All I have ever known in my life. Our land. Our customs. My family. Burns in the name of unification.
Damn.
You are still a frog.
So out of all of, like, the like historical, like, soldiers, or I don't know how to explain this, because I'm even including cowboys, and I know cowboys weren't soldiers, but, like, I feel like samurai have some of the coolest, like, visuals. Like, this is fucking sick. Just the armor is so good. Like, some countries had some really not so visually appealing armor. Not that that was the point. But, like, this shit's cool as hell.
You are still a frog in a well who knows nothing of the sea. The ocean's filled with new ships, but they all come from the same river. Greed.
Greed.
Power. Vengeance.
Look at how sick that is. There's Yasuke.
And you? Will you continue down that river? Or choose another path beyond what we see?
And we must look for it together. We must learn to trust, rebuild.
And follow the blade.
Here's a long trailer. Hasn't Assassin's Creed always been about like stealth gameplay? This doesn't look very stealth. That's my main complaint. I don't really care that he's black, but that right there just looked like you were just jumping in to fight loudly.
We are the shadows.
That served the light.
Okay. I don't really see a huge problem with this, but let's just look at the comments a little bit. Here's a Japanese dude. Translate to English. I think Yasuke is surprised that he's become such a hot topic even though he's just a luggage carrier. Whew. We were looking for our samurai, someone who is not Japanese and can be seen by us. These words were written in an interview that Famitsu conducted with Jonathan. The article has now been corrected, but it seems that Asians and Japanese people are not able to empathize. Does Yubi think of Japanese people as something other than people? So sad. I don't know what is this saying? Our samurai as in like is this a guy from Ubisoft that said this? Remember, never pre-order. After Cyberpunk 2077, I don't pre-order anything. I waited for that game since like 2013 and just got absolutely fucked because I had the PS4 version. Never again. If you want Assassin's Creed in Japan, play Ghost of Tsushima. This is true. Ghost of Tsushima was so good. I don't like Assassin's Creed games. Everyone I've played is very clunky. It's not fun. I've never played an Assassin's Creed. I played 1, 2, and Black Flag, and all three of those felt very clunky and slow. Didn't feel very fluid, and I didn't like how it controlled. So like, I have a feeling this will be the same. And if it's not, cool. But I also don't think it's gonna match Ghost of Tsushima in terms of like execution and also like the story. The story in Ghost of Tsushima I thought was super impactful and awesome. Cannot wait for Ubisoft to make an Assassin's Creed game set in Africa and make the main character a Chinese man. Are there Chinese people in Africa? Yes, there are Chinese people in Africa, with estimates suggesting that there are around 1 million Chinese settlers in the country. The largest Chinese population in Africa is in South Africa, with the country also having the largest Chinatown. When did Chinese people first appear in Africa? According to the New African magazine, historians and archaeologists believe that 138 to 126 BC is the historical starting point of Sino-African relations. Prior to the Qing dynasty in 221 to 206 BC, one account indicates that the Duhuan was the first Chinese to visit Africa during the 8th century AD. So, I mean, it's not that far-fetched that there would be a Chinese person in Africa for a video game. But, man, everyone's really angry. I was looking for someone who can be seen by us who are not... Okay, so this guy's talking about that same interview. Who are not Japanese. Yubi has rotten eyes, so he does things like the devil when he discriminates against Asians. I don't think they're discriminating against Asians. At what point in the trailer were they discriminating against Asians? They obviously like Japanese culture and think it's cool, especially like the samurai eras. I don't know exactly what era, feudal or what, I don't even know what all those are, but I don't think there was anything discriminatory in here. Why is the quality so low only for Japanese historical research? Well, this guy wrote a whole essay. The current prevailing theory is that Yasuke was not a samurai. In fact, Yasuke is not mentioned in the history books that are taught in compulsory education in Japan. And there are only 2 references that contain information about Yasuke, and there is no proof that he was a samurai. A certain historical researcher published a material book about Yasuke that was filled with delusions and baseless speculations, which led to the facts about Yasuke being greatly distorted and made into an anime and exported overseas. Most Japanese people only know about Yasuke through rumors, and he is not well known. I was really looking forward to this Assassin's Creed when I heard it was set in Japan. However, as a Japanese person, I am very saddened by the misinterpretation of Japanese history and the disregard for Japanese people. We hope to see more fun, surreal yet historically accurate games like Ghost of Tsushima in the future. But Assassin's Creed has never really been historically accurate. I mean, even just these weapons alone. All right, let's take a look. I don't think this weapon ever existed. Ever existed back in the day. I wouldn't say these are historically accurate either. Did Assassin's Creed weapons actually exist? No, the weapons in Assassin's Creed are not based on historical weapons. The games are works of fiction. Though they are inspired by history, and this is the key point here. Inspired by history. It's not going to be historically accurate. I think some people are just really hurt that they heard there's going to be a Japanese Assassin's Creed. And yes, all the other Assassin's Creeds were like, I think they were set in Europe originally, and they were all white men. And they're like, oh, but now that it's in Japan, there's a black man. But it's like, there are also there's so many samurai games. I think because what I was saying earlier was that Ghost of Tsushima was such a great samurai game. I don't think this game will ever match up. Just knowing Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, I don't think it'll be as good. And so the only way for them to stand out is to do something like this. Is to bring in someone who did exist. I don't know if he was a samurai or not, but he did exist. And they're just kind of using his story and putting their own spin on it. I think it's a good idea. But apparently a lot of other people don't think so. Right. Yasuke. Was Yasuke a samurai? Yasuke was a man of African origin who arrived in Japan in the late 16th century and is widely held to have been the first and only black samurai. This was posted 4 days ago. African Samurai, the true story of Yasuke, a legendary black warrior in feudal Japan. Originally published back in 2019. I mean, they just... Everything I've watched about this and read about this, people keep saying, well, he was just a retainer, he was a sword bearer, he didn't do anything. But like, it looks like there's some evidence that he was a samurai. Maybe he wasn't like samurai in the way that you think of samurai. Maybe he didn't actually do samurai shit, but he was just samurai in name only. I don't see the problem. It's an American-made game, and they took a spin. This isn't even the wildest thing that's been in games, I feel like, in the last couple of years. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. Let's just watch the video. Jesus Christ.
So we finally know what the official name of Assassin's Creed Red is. This is the Assassin's Creed game that's going to take place in Japan. It is officially called Assassin's Creed Shadows. We got a cinematic trailer, and as you can see from likes to dislikes ratio, there are some aspects.
How does he have the ratio up? Mine was gone.
That people are divided about. So there are 3 videos of this worth watching. There is the world premiere trailer. There is this right here, who are Naoe and Yasuke, the 2 protagonists of this game. Also, likes to dislikes ratio, not great. And we have Assassin's Creed Shadows Explained, which, again, likes dislikes ratio-wise, there's certainly quite a bit of division. Let's talk about why these trailers are being negatively received. There's the aspect of the bold choice of one of the protagonists that definitely plays a role. But to me, the greater issue is anti-consumer aspects of how this game is being sold and monetized. I think that, to me, is what should be the focus. But in terms of what's going on with the protagonist, well, you've got a Japanese woman here, Naoe, who is a shinobi character, and then we got Yasuke here, who is an African man who ended up in Japan, who is a samurai, and he is the other protagonist. And there's arguments as to whether an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan should feature an African character when so many previous Assassin's Creed games feature protagonists who are native to the culture that the game is representing. Now, important to note about Yasuke is that
But again, there are so many samurai games. Like, if you want a good samurai game, again, just play Ghost of Tsushima. I feel like that one was so good. You're going to get exactly what you want out of that game. I mean, and most people agree that, like, Ghost of Tsushima is a better Assassin's Creed game than Ubisoft could ever come up with. And I think if this game isn't as good or doesn't blow people away the way Ghost of Tsushima did, no one's going to care when this game comes out. So them doing this with Yasuke, I think, was a good move on their part. It makes sense to me.
is a real historical figure. He is someone from Africa. It is believed to be Mozambique specifically, who ended up in Japan and happened to serve under none other than Nobunaga himself as a retainer. But there are arguments as to whether a retainer is technically a samurai and if Yasuke should be represented as a samurai. Now, I'm no historian, so I cannot tell you for sure either way, but plenty of historians or people who know Japanese history seem to insist that being a retainer to Nobunaga does make you a samurai, and that Yasuke did serve in that aspect. There's also actually a lot of media that have featured Yasuke, like the TV series called Yasuke that is being streamed on Netflix. You got Afro Samurai.
And this is, I feel like, well loved. Nobody had an issue with this.
Was
So why do they
inspired
suddenly have an issue with the game?
by Yasuke, even though we also have the well-known series Afro Samurai from Takashi Okazaki, which was inspired by Yasuke. Yasuke has also been featured in a number of video games like Nioh, for example. There is this character named the Obsidian Samurai who is very much just Yasuke, and he was made into a character for this game. Yasuke was also made playable in the video game Samurai Warriors 5. Then in the fighting video game Guilty Gear, you've got this character named Nagori Yuki, who very much looks like
Who is a well-loved character. And fighting him is a fucking nightmare. A good Nago is a fucking nightmare in this game. To be fair, I played a very low-tier character. So, maybe that's why I had such trouble against him.
an African samurai.
And he's cool as fuck.
And he was inspired by Yasuke. So yeah, he's been featured in a lot more media than you might think, especially in Japanese media. There's a list here of some of the work that he's been featured in on Wikipedia. He's, you know, quite the sort of outlier, obviously, in that era of Japan. And Ubisoft decided to lean into that character, make him a protagonist, and that's an aspect that's causing rifts and divisions among people who believe that, you know, I think both of these characters should have been Japanese or whatever. I personally, to be honest, don't care. I think it's a bold and interesting choice, and whether I
bold and interesting choice. Again, it's a made up video game. I don't care if it takes place in a time in history where, I mean, like, obviously it's taking place in a real time in history, but like Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur Morgan didn't exist, and people still love it. It's made up, right? And again, Afro Samurai is based on Yasuke, and it's definitely taking place in a real time in Japan, and people didn't have a problem with it then. Plus, like, The Last Samurai, I remember this movie went through the same thing when it came out. People were like, oh, fucking Tom Cruise is The Last Samurai? You're gonna make a white man The Last Samurai? That, if you watch the movie, that actually isn't the point. He's not a samurai. The Last Samurai were the warriors that died in at the end of the movie. He just happened to be there and appreciate them and was trying to help them out, right? He was not a samurai in this movie. Even if he's wearing the armor, he was just there to fight with them. He's not one of them. He was just there to witness their end. But a lot of people said the same thing, like, oh, The Last Samurai, and you put a fucking white man in there, fucking white savior. He's not a savior. He doesn't save anybody. All the samurai die.
like this decision or not will obviously just depend on the execution, what they do with the character. If they make a good story and have good character moments and a good character arc, and it all ties into a good theme, and you know, all of it is combined with good gameplay, and it all just comes together in a package that's just good and tells a good story, and this character feels like, you know, there's purpose to being chosen as the protagonist of this game, then great. This is different from what I was expecting, but that makes it all the more intriguing. You know, it makes me more curious about what they do with this, and if they can take that thing that is so unexpected and make it into something compelling, then, you know, I'm all for that prospect and possibility.
I'm still not going to play it, though. I don't give a fuck about Assassin's Creed games. I'm just here for the drama.
In terms of historical accuracy, I don't know. Again, I'm no historian, but also Assassin's Creed isn't really known for its historical accuracy. Like, when you think about how Ubisoft utilizes a lot of famous historical figures throughout the Assassin's Creed games, it's kind of nuts and very inaccurate to real-world history.
Yeah, they do what they want with it,
Assassin's Creed
man.
has always been historical fiction, dramatized, romanticized, exaggerated, and way out there. So I'll be honest, I don't really look for historical accuracy in an Assassin's Creed game. Like, there are historical elements that they try to obviously ground and retain, but in terms of the stuff that happens in between certain key historical beats, Ubisoft just kind of makes it all up, and it's all just fiction and pseudo history. So I don't know. That's my stance on that.
I'm with that.
To me, this is not the thing that concerns me in any way, shape, or form. I'll have to wait and see how they execute with these two characters. If you want to know more about the game in terms of the details of its story, setting,
it kind of reminds me of The Last of Us, and not just because I see Ellie here in the background. But remember when the leaks for what happens in The Last of Us to Joel and with Abby came out before the game even launched? People were like, "Fuck this game! I don't want to play this game." There's that video of that guy going, "You have betrayed the fan base." But it's a wait and see deal, because The Last of Us 2 was incredible. And I know that there are still people that hate that game and the story. I thought it was incredible. At the very least, at least this is not a game that's just going completely under the radar. Having people talk shit about it and having people say, let's wait and see, is a good thing, at least for Ubisoft. But fuck Ubisoft, I don't really like their games.
Gameplay and open world elements and whatnot. There are two IGN articles covering Assassin's Creed Shadows extensively. This one right here titled Assassin's Creed Shadows Inside Ubisoft's Ambitious Open World Japan. That kind of has this whole article covering an interview that they did with the developers. And we got this article right here, Assassin's Creed Shadows, 40 details you need to know, that has a bullet list and a really well organized kind of list of information highlighting some of the key learnings that we got from IGN's coverage of this game. So that's there for you to partake in if you so desire. Now let's talk about the thing that I think is much more worth scrutinizing. It's, of course, the numerous editions that they're selling for Assassin's Creed Shadows. We got editions that go all the way up to $130.
Fuck you.
If this seems familiar to you, that's because they're doing
This is what everyone should be mad about. Not the fact that there's a black samurai. It should be this. $130? For what? I see 3 days early access. It's a story mode game. It's a single player story mode game. What do you need 3 days early access for?
exactly the same thing with Star Wars.
Hold on. Let's see. Base game, pre-order. What the fuck is the pre-order bonus? Season pass, 3 days early access, ultimate pack. What is the ultimate pack?
As for
I gotta see this. I just want to see. Let's go to pre-order now. They should have it on here. The pre-order bonus. It's a bonus quest. Something that should already be in the game, by the way. Includes a bonus quest on day one with an additional unlockable content as well as 2 upcoming expansions. Which, by the way, are completely pre-planned, so they're just keeping shit out of the base game because they want you to pay. 3 days of early access, go fuck yourself. Ultimate pack. The Sekiryu character pack, including gear and weapon sets for both Naoe, Yasuke, the Sekiryu Beast, and Dragon Tooth Trinket. Hideout pack, including 4 unique ornaments to customize the hideout of your Shinobi League. 5 skill points, red dragon filter, and photo mode. Okay. None of this shit is worth an extra $60. Plus, when you buy games like this, you don't use this shit half the time. When you first log into the game, you might, or launch the game, you might use this gear and weapon set that they give you. But then eventually you're going to find something better, something that's more your style, and you're going to never use these again. And for a filter and photo mode, $60 fucking dollars? Suck my dick.
For what these editions get you, well, for the standard edition that costs $70, you get the base game, and you have to pre-order if you want to get one of the game's missions. As you can see right here, one of the pre-order bonuses is that you get an Assassin's Creed Shadows bonus quest thrown to the dogs. So already we're getting locked content if you don't order the game before it comes out. And what's egregious about these pre-orders going up right now is that we still have not seen gameplay of Assassin's Creed Shadows. They've shown off this CGI cinematic.
Yeah, that's another thing you should be mad about. They're already putting out pre-orders, but you don't even know how the game plays and what it looks like, what the missions are like. Is it all fucking trailing missions? Like they seem to enjoy trailing missions? God.
And all of the Assassin's Creed CGI cinematics look great, and they always get you hyped up, but they're seldom representative of actual gameplay. The actual game, for me, always tends to be a little underwhelming and nowhere near as epic and as enticing as the CGI trailers make them be. So I always wait for gameplay trailers before making decisions or before kind of deciding whether I'm excited for this game or not. To see Ubisoft put up pre-orders for editions that go from $70 to $130 while having showed off zero gameplay, nothing about how the game actually looks and plays, that is already a big red flag. No pun intended. And on top of that, the fact that in order to access another quest that is a part of this season pass, as you can see right here, the Assassin's Creed Shadow season pass includes a bonus quest on day one with additional unlockable content as well as two upcoming expansions.
That's
the
hilarious.
Fact that you have to purchase this
That's hilarious. So you have to pre-purchase at least at $110 just to get these 2 bonus quests that should have already been in the fucking game. Personally, I find that currently Ubisoft has been doing absolutely anything with these licenses for several years. What's crazy is the increase in prices for the gold collector versions, and that they are making it normal to temporarily block missions of the game if you did not pay for these versions for other players. Yeah, it's fucked up, man. Give us the full fucking game, and if it's good, people will buy the season pass. I don't like. They're using FOMO to get people to pay extra, and Assassin's Creed just. Again, I've never liked those games, man. I don't think they're great. So maybe that's why they feel they have to do this, but it's really scummy. Before it was only cosmetics, and now it's 2 missions of the game. Yeah. I'm cool with cosmetics being paywalled, but if it's a mission, gameplay stuff, even the photo filter, like, why do you have to pay for that, man? It's it's really shitty. Like I don't know if you know the game Tekken. I remember when Tekken 7 came out, there was a DLC that put in like a frame data. Frame data is something that a lot of fighting game players use to train and lab out their characters. That's not something that should be paywalled. At least not past like the initial amount for the game. It's really fucked up, man. I don't know why I'm talking about Tekken, but like this is so stupid.
$110 edition. That's $40 more.
And hold on, are they the ones? What other games are they doing? I'm almost certain, because I watch a lot of Asmongold. I'm almost certain they're the ones doing the Star Wars game coming up. Yep, of course. Another game I'm not gonna play. You know, that's a lie. I'll play it when it's on sale for like $15. Jesus, 70, 110, 130. I think this is just the Ubisoft model now. It's just like, hey, let's just do this. Pre-order bonus. What's the pre-order bonus for this? Cosmetics, which is fine. Again, 3-day early access. Fuck you. Season pass. Exclusive mission. Again, they're doing this shit. The cosmetics, I don't care. But this, an exclusive mission, like, don't. Fuck. Sabak Shark bundle including cosmetics. Okay, so that's fucking stupid, man. $130. I remember when like pre-orders for like Ultimate Editions were like, hey, pay $80. And even back then, I was like, what the fuck? Your game's already $59.99 at Best Buy, dude. I'm not paying $80. You know what's funny though? I won't pay $80 for a game. I will absolutely pay $80 for some food though. I think you were here last time when I was talking about like me buying barbecue. The family sampler barbecue platter that I bought for $40 was $50 fucking dollars or $55. I'll absolutely drop some money for some fucking barbecue. I'm not dropping it on this.
Then the
Ubisoft
base game
is just
to gain access to a quest that's ready, that is available on day one, that they are artificially deciding to paywall and lock behind this edition that includes a season pass. That gets the blood boiling. That is straight up unacceptable, and a practice that Ubisoft is trying to normalize more and more, that I would not like to see normalized. We're not talking about little bits of cosmetics. We're actually talking about gameplay content. We're talking about full quests, and regardless of whether these are substantial quests or insubstantial quests, and
just stop giving them your money. And I know that's not going to happen because so many people don't really care. They just want to play their game. But stop paying them money, and they'll stop doing this. That, or they'll use their weaselly little fingers and their weaselly little brains and think of some new fucking scheme to take your money. but Ubisoft is not getting a lick of my money. And that Star Wars game, honestly, I'm probably not going to play it because even Star Wars, what's the Fallen Order? I wanted to play this and I got it for free on the Epic Game Store, and I still haven't touched it. And I thought this looked like this shit, and I wanted to play it so bad because it's like a Souls-like game. But I'm probably not going to play that other Star Wars game too. I'll probably watch a lot of gameplay of it though. You know what I am going to buy though? I am absolutely buying Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Peggy 16.
This is the one company that hasn't fucked me yet. Especially after Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk really fucking upset me. Because I was waiting for that game for so many years. And I was like, oh, they're the guys that made Witcher 3. They can't fuck it up. And then they did. And by the way, I love Cyberpunk. I played it now after I played it after a year, and a lot of the bugs were fixed, but and not all of them. There's still a lot of bugs in that game. But this is the only company that hasn't fucked me yet. I don't think I'm gonna pre-order it, but I'm definitely gonna buy it day one and play it. God damn it.
In both scenarios, it looks bad because if these quests are substantial and give you some good rewards and are actually fun quests, then you're paywalling good content that's ready for day one behind either paying more money or ordering the game before you really know what the game even is. And if it's insubstantial quests that are not that big of a deal, then...
And by the way, it's not even really a pre-order bonus. Every time I've seen a game do this, within like a month, they start selling it like, here's that DLC content that you didn't get without the pre-order for $5 extra on the PlayStation Store or something like that. So you're going to get it anyway. You just have to pay again. Or like, not again, but you know what I mean.
You're kind of devaluing the
just put it in the game.
Fact that you're paying $40 more for a gold edition of the game. And just on principle, it doesn't matter whether the quests feel substantial or not. It's content that should be readily available for everyone. If you pay the base price, you should have all of the in-game content available, especially where it's concerning gameplay affecting stuff, where it's concerning activities that you do in the game. And then, of course, we've got the 3 days early access that is only included with the $110 and the $130 edition. What this really means is that the only way to play this game on time and not 3 days late is to pay $40 to $60 more than the...
Other than FromSoft, I give you guys permission, if you guys are still around that long. If I ever become a motherfucker that pays for 3 days early access, feel free to make fun of me in chat. I won't ban you. You can clip this too if you want. But fucking make fun of me. Talk shit. Make a hate thread. If I ever become a motherfucker like that. The only way I'll ever play a game in early access is if they give it to me. If a company gives me the game, I'll play it early. I'm not going to pay for that shit though. Yeah. I don't know why I said that.
The $70 base game price. That's, I think, where more of the discussion should be based around, because those are just objectively anti-consumer bad decisions that, if successful, Ubisoft might push more and more, as they've done with other monetization tactics, as they've done with other anti-consumer practices. And you can see that this is becoming a trend for all of their major releases. Here is the chart for Star Wars Outlaws. It's exactly the same scheme. $70, $110, $130.
Sorry, hold on. My cat's being a baby. He wants his little snacks.
You got the 3 days early access. You've got a season pass that straight up just locks a quest behind it. The Jabba's Gambit exclusive mission is available at launch for those who spend money to get this edition with the season pass. And then beyond that, with Assassin's Creed Shadows specifically, the $130 Ultimate Edition includes this ultimate pack that is straight up a little bit pay to win, because it gives you just 5 skill points on top of all of these, you know, cosmetic elements and bits and pieces of gears and weapon sets and whatnot. You're taking something that could be really exciting for a lot of people and staining it with elements that kind of give the efforts of the developers unnecessary negative PR that make people question and doubt whether this is a game that they should engage with, whether this is something that they should support. And it sucks because I am rooting for Assassin's Creed Shadows to be good. It's, you know, again, very bold what they did by choosing Yasuke as the protagonist, and I think it could potentially be interesting if executed well. I want this to be a big step.
An Assassin's Creed game with a Japanese protagonist already exists. Just play Ghost of Tsushima. All right, bud. Oh, yeah. Now he's gonna go lick his asshole near the window. Nothing wrong with that, my fellow cat dad. Do your thing. Yeah. You know what's crazy about my cat though? I got a cat thinking. I really didn't know much about cats. I thought that all cats just wanted you to fuck off after you give them some food and pet them for like 10 minutes. Not this bitch. This bitch is a dog. Follows me everywhere. Sits in my fucking underwear when I'm taking a shit. Fucking literally sits at the base of my feet in my pants. Like when I pull my pants down because it's warm in there. And he just sits there while I take a shit. Sleeps with me in bed. Whenever I eat something, he has to smell it. It's just constant. And I love my cat. But it's also just like, if I wanted a dog, I would have gotten a dog, dude. I wish he hated me a little. Look at him. Is that? Yeah, he's licking his ass right now. I told you he was going to do that. He's not doing it by the window, but he's licking his ass right now. You can see it. Little butt licker. Little ass-eating ass boy. Look at him. Stage 4 clinger. Dude, it's ridiculous. And if you know me in real life, you'd know that I'm really not I don't cling. I don't like physical touch. I don't want children. I don't like to be followed around. I like to be left alone for long periods of time. That's why I play so many video games and why I stream. But this little motherfucker right here, I feel like, and I'm sure people with real kids are going to give me a hard time for this, but like I feel like I know what it's like to have a kid, and I don't fucking like it. I do love him though. If he could talk, it would probably drive me insane. Treats. Give me treats. Tuna.
Forward for the Assassin's Creed franchise, which has felt kind of stale, if I'm being honest. I want the open world design to improve. I want the characters here to really shine with the arcs that they go through for this story. I want the assassination gameplay to feel as good as it did in some of the older Assassin's Creed games and make me feel powerful as
it never felt good. I hate Assassin's Creed games. It was always clunky and slow.
An assassin. And I also hope that the warrior samurai gameplay offers a combat system that is in line with some of the more renowned open world action adventure games. I do wish this game the best, and I hope that it dispels how kind of burnt out I've become about Assassin's Creed games. Having this age, having the Japanese setting that's been so requested for so long, that alone I think is going to get a lot of people excited and curious.
Ooh, you know what was another request that I think, there's a lot of people requesting this one thing. So if you guys watch Predator, they made one called Prey, which was with like native folk. I don't want to say a tribe name and then get it wrong, but this movie was fucking phenomenal. And you know what people are saying? They said they should make a Predator movie in Japan back when there were samurai. I feel like that would be really fucking dope. Dude, I would watch a Predator movie. I would watch every Predator movie if they set everyone back in time. Cowboys versus Predator. Fucking maybe like World War II soldiers versus Predator. Samurai versus Predator. What else? Knights like in England and shit versus Predators. That would be fucking insane. They're pulling the Gantz. Oh, dude. You just said something. Gantz is... What? Who the fuck is this? This is one of my favorite mangas. I used to read this in college. Oh my god. I don't think it was a very good story in terms of I don't think the author knew what they were doing with the story. They just wanted to make a ridiculous story, but it was so cool, dude. As long as they don't mess it up. Yeah, honestly, Prey was great, though. I don't think they'd mess it up, or hopefully they wouldn't. Where Japan is often exploited in the same way by Westerners, the series being based on an old version of the series.
About this game, and I just need to see gameplay first before I decide whether I'm excited about this or not. But man, these kinds of monetization tactics, on top of the fact that Assassin's Creed Shadows is yet another major AAA release that requires an online connection if you want to install the game, even if you own the physical edition, even if you own the disc, you need to download a patch that essentially activates the game for the game to be playable. And so that means that ways in the future, if servers are deactivated, and you want to feel secure about you owning the physical copy, it doesn't really serve you much, because every time you install the game and you want to reinstall it, you need to download that patch that may become unavailable if servers go down. So in terms of game preservation, that defeats the whole purpose of you owning a physical edition that's supposed to give you some security about a product that you hope will be preserved for the long term. Now, Ubisoft had to clarify that the game does not require a persistent online connection for you to play. It's just that you do need that one-time online connection to install the game and install that patch that enables the game, whether it's the digital or physical edition. But it doesn't change the fact that this trend sucks. Star Wars Outlaws is doing the same thing.
You just said it. Star Wars Outlaws doing the same shit. Fuck that game. I'm not playing it.
Even the physical edition will require an online connection to install. And Ubisoft also did exactly the same thing with their last major release, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. And it's just like all these little things that keep adding up and piling up that they're making mandatory for every major AAA release that I want to be excited for. But then Ubisoft comes in with their corporate shenanigans that just makes me feel more apprehensive.
And this is why indie games are doing so well now too. Like, they don't require all this bullshit. Like, when I'm done with Baldur's Gate 3, and I don't know if I'm going to get to it because the Elden Ring DLC is going to come out, I'm really excited for this game, Dave the Diver. I haven't installed it yet, but it's like a diving survival game
Interesting little human
and sushi making.
He spends his days diving the chilling depths of a mysterious blue hole. And when he isn't merely surviving or rummaging resources, he's often found snapping photographs, racing seahorses, farming, and really anything that grabs his attention. It's
There's so much shit to do in this game. I'm so excited to play this. I got this on sale during Christmas time.
this gluttonous appetite for adventure that gets him into all kinds at the top.
And there's
even the most, as the Viper is faced with the most ravenous, Dave, the most ravenous of species, while cooking.
He's like a sushi chef at night. So you like catch shit and you make food. That sounds awesome. It's a very fun game. I hope so. I'm going to play it this summer for sure. A game that I'm not excited to play is this fucking bitch right here. I bought it because someone told me it might be a good stream game. I've seen a lot of people trying to play this and getting upset. I'm not excited to play this game, but I will play it. I think in the summertime, I mean, I'm going to Korea June 1st to the 14th, so I won't be able to do this then. But I'm thinking of doing a 24-hour stream where well, not a 24-hour stream, but a stream where I don't sleep until I beat this. And I have a feeling it's going to make me real upset. So I'm going to get real cranky. My 33-year-old ass is not ready to stay up playing this game for hours. Because games like this frustrate the hell out of me, but we'll see. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God, indeed.
About supporting their games and their practices, even though I know the developers are putting their hearts and souls into these games and trying to make them as good as possible within the time frame and environment that they're being given. And I'm rooting for these games to be good and to push Ubisoft game design forward. But it's hard to become excited about each major release and not be cautious about them when Ubisoft is always pulling this kind of stuff that gives unnecessary negative PR that just feels really petty when they could just be releasing awesome AAA games without all these really.
And I remember Ubisoft was such a big name too. I think they made the X-Men. There was like a Diablo style X-Men. Hold on, maybe it wasn't them. Ubisoft X-Men game. Oh my God, never mind. Maybe it's not Ubisoft. Ubisoft games. What games have they made that I've played? Oh, that's right. I played Far Cry 4, Splinter Cell. I've never really liked Splinter Cell. Prince of Persia. Was Prince of Persia Sands of Time made by Ubisoft? Ubisoft. Prince of Persia. The Sands of Time. Ubisoft Montreal. Yeah, they used to make great games. And then they got greedy. I love the fuck out of this game. This game was so good, man. Super unique.
Shitty caveats.
At least for its time.
So yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows going down that path of including some of those anti-consumer elements that people have already complained about with Star Wars Outlaws and with Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. That's also a big part of why these trailers are getting disliked. People in general are just not being very receptive to Ubisoft shenanigans, and it's sort of a form of protest and sending a message that Ubisoft needs to chill out. But in terms of how Assassin's Creed Shadows will turn out, whether it's an Assassin's Creed game that will reignite my passion for the series, whether it's going to be a big step forward for the franchise and IP and all these things, that remains to be seen. I'm not going to judge anything until I see gameplay and get my hands on the game. And I hope that their choice of protagonists ultimately pans out and that they tell a good story with them and there's like good purpose and intention behind these choices, and that they become just compelling and memorable characters. You know, I wish them the best on that front. But in terms of what the corporate level stuff is doing, it's just classic Ubisoft. Well, at the very least, that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on Assassin's Creed Shadows, what they've shown so far with the CGI trailer.
Yeah, time will tell, but I'm still not going to buy that game. Fuck that. But I will say, I don't see an issue with there being a Black Samurai. I really don't. It's not a historically accurate game. I realize it's set in Japan, but Yasuke was a real person. They're just taking his story and flipping it and doing what they want with it, which, I'm okay with. They're not... they're not making him the savior of Japan, and everyone that's saying like, well, he wasn't a samurai. What it looked like they were doing from the trailer is, right, I think one of the lines that the girl said was like, we work from the shadows to serve the light. So he's doing everything in secret as an assassin. So if he's good at his job as a secret assassin, no one's going to know that he's a secret assassin, which means in history, people would just see him as a retainer and be like, yeah, that's all he did. If he was good at his job, if everyone knew he was an assassin, he would be a pretty shitty assassin. You know what I mean? So I don't see an issue with it. I mean, I'm one of the few Asian people in my circle that likes The Last Samurai, so whatever, man.